Did the doctor get my cancer diagnosis wrong? Should I be worried? When am I going to see the oncologist? What's going to happen next? Am I going to cry again? And what very moving and exciting news is at the end of this video? Come this way through the curtain of blurred colons and find out. Welcome to my YouTooSpain diary. Hi, Skatz here. It's Friday, February the 23rd, and this is video diary number 10. I can't quite believe I've done this many. It doesn't feel like 10. It's a very weird thing, time. And also, I can't believe that so many people are on this journey. Thank you. Thank you so much again. I'm going to keep saying it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm attempting to answer all of your lovely comments. If I haven't answered you yet, then I will get round to it. And of course, you've had messages of support and all of those stories of successful treatments. It does seem like everyone's had cancer and beaten it. It's marvellous. No one who's dead has written to me yet. So I'm going to believe that everyone survives, and I'll keep these positive stories close to my heart for support. So keep on sharing, my lovely amigos. I might even write a book about it. Can I use your stories? Do let me know. I can change names and places if you want to remain anonymous. Thank you so much. A quick recap then, in case this is your first time in Diaryland. Hello, if it is. Excuse me. Last Friday, I had my diagnosis. It's confirmed as cancer. Yay, it's cancer. Why am I cheering? There's a tumour in my rectum. I love that word. Actually, I've been calling this colon cancer or bowel cancer, but it is actually rectal. I should get the terminology right. The fact that it's rectal is the reason they can't operate straight away without shrinking the nasty beastie, or Freddy the bastard, as I've called him. I'm going to talk about that later on in the video. You see, because he's right down there in the rectum, which is one of the lowest points down there, there's no length of tube below that they can cut in order to join it to the one above him when they get rid of him. So we have to shrink Freddy the bastard down to make that possible. Okay, so what's this about the doctor being wrong, I hear you ask. What's this about the doctor being wrong? Well, I asked her, Liz and I asked her, that is, through Chris, my wonderful intrepid interpreter. We asked two very specific questions. First of all, was the tumour outside of the walls or was it contained? And the doctor clearly indicated with words and with this mime it was contained. However, the classification of the tumour on the report means that it must also be on the outside of the walls as well, which is one of the things that makes it stage 3 cancer. That's as I understand it. And when I found that out, that made my heart skip a beat, I can tell you. Stage 3 is quite serious, not as bad as stage 4, but I know people who've survived stage 4 with this same condition. Anyway, it does say on the report, though, that there are no evident metastases. That means they can't see any evidence that Freddy the bastard has crawled into any other organs, which does sound positive. Not 100% positive, because they can never be 100% positive. They can't always tell with absolute certainty from the scans, or at all, it feels like, because I'm wondering, is the whole journey going to be like this in my head when they give me any answer, however positive? Is it going to have a caveat up here of, well, we think everything's fine, but you never know, do you? Something might be lurking. You could drop dead any minute from that little spot on the scan that we thought it was a bit of jam from the nurse's toast this morning. There you go. So anyway, that was the first question we asked. Why jam? I don't know. Peanut butter? Whatever. The second question we asked is, are the lymph nodes okay? Is there any cancer there? Doctor said no, they're perfectly fine. That seemed to be quite clear to me. Language, no mime necessary. I'm not sure what the sign language for lymph nodes is, but probably not that. But the report says 7 suspicious lymph nodes. lurking in an alley behind the bus station, waiting to sell you bad quality smack and steal your shoes while you're lying in a pool of your own vomit. No, it didn't say that, but it did say they were suspicious, so they must be doing something down there. Yeah. So have I answered my question in the video title then? Did the doctor get it wrong? Should I be worried? Or was it just a translation confusion? And will I ever know? Possibly not. Possibly yes. But the good news is that I got a call from the hospital in Malaga a day or two ago to book me in to see the oncologist early next week. So any confusion or doubts should be able to be cleared up then. The oncologist, he or she, no, but I think it's a he, is the expert, and Liz has been very carefully and meticulously studying the report and also reading proper professional medical journals online. So she is ready to ask all of the right questions. She's much better at that than I am, and Chris will be there once again to translate. Lovely man that he is. If he couldn't be there in Malaga, I'd have to pay for one of the hospital's translators, which is 30 or 40 euros, I think. Although I have had so many offers of support for everything, so nobody specifically said I can translate for you, but I'd probably be spoilt for choice anyway. So once again, thank you. This week has been a bit of a waiting game. It's the same old, isn't it? But as I said, the appointment came through very quickly, so it didn't feel like I had to wait too long. I'm continuing to be very impressed with the speed of the State Health Service, and in spite of my little doubts that I've mentioned in this video, I'm quite happy with everything so far. So sorry about the clickbait title, or am I? Would you have read it if I'd said, there's been a really boring week of waiting? Probably not. Or possibly yes. I don't know, you're all lovely people. You'd probably read the story anyway, wouldn't you? Yes. Read the story? You can hear the story. Anyway, I digress. The report, anyway, is very detailed, so that's the main thing. So that kind of cancels out that any problems with the translation when we were speaking to the doctor. We are getting the information we need. So, good. I am conscious of saying we instead of I, because Liz is very much a part of this journey, just as much a part of this journey as I am. Although she says she's not, because she doesn't have to go through the treatment. But I think from a psychological, mental perspective, this is just as tough for her too. And the thought of losing me to her is hovering over her. And that's affecting me more than the cancer is at the moment, more than Freddy the bastard, because I can have a go at him. But yes, the thought, I can't even imagine how it would feel if it was the other way around. So, okay, a couple of more things to tell you. First of all, the most important thing we have to discuss is my tumour called Freddy or Frankie? Let me clear up this most important of questions. Originally, I'd named him Frankie, which was partly a reference to a certain dictator from this part of the world. You may have heard of him. I won't mention his name. However, when I spoke about him last week, I mean, not the dictator, Freddy the bastard, I said Freddy instead of Frankie by accident. And then I kept on saying it throughout the video, and it got out of hand and I called him Freddy the bastard. It wasn't until Liz pointed out my mistake after I'd released the video that I noticed it and said, didn't I call him Frankie? Oh no, I called him Freddy. And by that time the whole internet was calling him Freddy the bastard. So it's kind of stuck now. It does actually sound like he's some sort of East End gangster. So it's appropriate that we should get rid of him, isn't it? They're nasty people, aren't they? You know what they say, if you need a job doing, send for Freddy the bastard. So it's Freddy. And you do have to make do the face as well. So remember that. It's vitally important. I am going to make the t-shirt design very soon. So look out for that. And I must order the Still Alive t-shirt and start wearing that. I'm even thinking of having it on my gravestone, because that would be fun. Not for me, obviously, but I would like to leave you laughing. So, my last piece of news for this week is very, very heartwarming and lovely, because when I mentioned last week that I was, worried, I've got the burps today, I'm going to keep them in the video, why not? This is reality. So when I mentioned last week that I was worried I'd lose the ability to work and that Liz's income would very likely suffer too, and that we have no idea how long it might go on, and that we don't want to run out of money and have to leave our home here in Spain or be a burden to the state or to anyone. After I talked about that, there was a beautiful and amazing response. It began with a few of the people watching the Saturday live show donating through the buymeacoffee.com link that I always have on the screen and down below in the video description, and a few people were donating through there's some kind of YouTube things down the bottom of the screen down there. I think I'm pointing to the right place. But then after that lovely outpouring, there was only a few days ago our awesome friend Amanda, who you might remember from a previous video, she drove me down to get the CT scans down the road there on the coast. She set up a GoFundMe page to support me and Liz, so we don't have to worry about not being able to work while this bigger worry is on our shoulders, and while I'm fighting Freddy the bastard. I really want to keep on working, and I don't want to let any of you down. So just the idea of a friend raising money for us, well, it's just so sweet and thoughtful and kind and lovely, and thank you. There's nothing else I can say except that I'm fighting Freddy the bastard, and I'm doing it for you as well as me, and I'm going to, I don't know if that sounds cheesy or not, but I am, and I'm going to keep on making videos even if I feel like shit, for all of you who are saying and doing such amazing things for us. So until we hear from the oncologist, and even after that, we're not going to know for sure whether Freddy the bastard will knock me off my feet or not. I do love saying that. And how long it'll be for. Will the cancer spread? So many questions. It means, of course, that we have an uncertain future. I suppose, don't we all? But when there's the possibility of a coffin hanging over your head, it kind of makes everything seem just that bit more clear, doesn't it? And of course, if the worst possible scenario happens, Liz is going to need your support more than ever. So I've put the link, I have no pride at all, I've put the link to the GoFundMe page in the comments and in the video description so that you can donate if you want to. Thanks so much. And if the best scenario happens and I'm cured within a matter of minutes, I will, of course, redonate any spare cash, and this could be fun. We'll donate it to a worthy cause that we can all choose together. Obviously it'll be something to do with cancer, I would say. Anyway, as the clumsy man says, we'll fall off that bridge when we come to it. On next week's video diary, next Friday, I will have all of the details of the oncologist's report just for you, and that will contain the plan, the big plan to shrink Freddy the bastard. And we'll find out how much chemo they think we need and what kind of chemo. We'll definitely know that. And of course, will I have the radiation at the same time? Who knows? And is that when I'll get my spidey powers and be able to climb up walls? Tune in next week for another thrilling episode of Feck Off Freddy. Keep your... Why am I doing it in a posh voice? Should be an Irish voice. Feck off, Freddy. Keep your fingers and your toes crossed, my lovely amigos. And as always, raise your glass or your fancy bottle with me and sing Still Alive. And you can do it in that voice if you want as well. That's the voice that I originally got from the Major in Fawlty Towers. Hello, Fawlty! And I used it in my one-man show called Father Used to Say, and I'm now using it for the Colonel, you may have noticed on some of my other videos. Anyway, still alive! And of course, as we do every week, let's do the cancer dance!